Let's move on now with Mediawatch with James Creedon. Hi there, James.
Hi, Catherine.
Now, just before we were talking about the Pope's visit to Mexico, there is plenty online about the Pope today.
That's right. We'll start with the images because where the Pope goes, the cameras follow and the photos are taken, including some cliches. And I suppose hard to be avoided when you drive around in a Pope mobile. That is one cliched image. Numero uno. Do we have that?
Yes.
There we go. And we're moving on to, the symbolic moments as well. He spent 20 minutes in front of the much venerated and loved Our Lady of Guadalupe, who is the patron saint of Latin America, and he spent 20 minutes in silence in front of her. So that was very much, I think, going down well with Mexicans. And then, of course, the images of him in a sombrero showing, I suppose, a more light-hearted, jovial aspect to Pope Francis's personality, and he was even taking photos in sombreros, or photos were being taken of him on the plane.
A selection of sombreros, it looks like.
That's right.
A couple of different ones.
I think there's been at least two, probably more. But of course, he is drawing attention to serious issues as well. He's gone to various different locations around the country. One where, it's business as well, if you like, because one of the states that he visited today, Chiapas, is rapidly losing its number of Catholics to the Baptist and evangelical faith. So it's about, I suppose, showing that the Catholic Church is close to the people, which is how the Baptists and the evangelicals have been gaining ground by proximity, but also really drawing attention to the issue of inequality in Mexican society. There was a mass especially for the indigenous populations where he said that really people need to ask forgiveness of these populations for the way they've been treated. He also went to the suburb of Ecatepec in Mexico City. Now, this is an area with massive homicide problems, in particular women. And the figures are absolutely terrifying. Between 2012 and 2015, 1,715 women have been killed in the state of Mexico, and some 203 of them were from this precise neighbourhood, which is, I think, 1.6 million people, and really a huge amount of no-go areas. So the fact that the Pope was there, the fact that he mentioned the issue of drug dealing, etc., and pointed the finger of responsibility in some parts to the Mexican state, did draw a lot of attention to that, and that is perhaps very useful. But the USA Today indeed pointing out that he didn't even get to see a lot of the dark side of Mexico because it's just no go. And actually there was, just speaking from a media point of view, there was a big expose in the Washington Post back in December about how Mexican media can't even really talk honestly about drug cartels. One newspaper in particular, I think it was the El Mañana newspaper, 4 of its journalists have been killed in the past 10 years, and this article highlighted how really compromises have to be made, and the exposés of various drug cartel issues have to be submitted to the cartels in advance, and a lot of the newspapers and journalists say this is the only way to survive. So the Pope didn't get to see it. Ordinary Mexicans don't even get to read about it a lot of the time, even though, of course, it is in foreign media. It is a big topic these days.
The Pope's visit shedding a light on it in some way, I suppose.
That's right, the social and crime issues in Mexico.
All right, well, we're also getting some light shed on another Pope, a previous one, Pope John Paul. Now, this is being reported by Britain's BBC. It says it's seen letters documenting a very close relationship that Pope John Paul had with a married woman for more than 30 years. Do tell us more about this.
All right, well, it's the Panorama show this evening on the BBC, and indeed on their website they're detailing secret letters of Pope John Paul II. Now, there is no proof whatever and no indication that it was a quote-unquote improper relationship, but it was certainly a very close friendship. And these letters, which were held by Anna Teresa Timianenka. She was a great hoarder, according to the BBC website, and those letters were given over to the Polish National Library back in, I think it was
2008.
2008. There you go. And in any case, usually for a store of letters like this, they would have been made public beforehand. But it appears that the Polish National Library probably suspected that there would be speculation that mightn't flatter the Pope. In any case, the BBC has managed to witness and go through through these letters, and it does appear that this lady, who was a friend and a philosopher, who had collaborated with the Pope on certain projects, did share in her letters to him her great affection for him, and he was apparently left without words. Wasn't much he could say in return. Now, there are a lot of kind of salacious headlines talking about the fact that he fell in love with her. That's perhaps debatable.
Is the documentary claiming that?
Well, I think
Have to wait and see.
I think we'll have to wait and see. It's more claiming, I think, that she fell in love with him. In any case, according to the Polish National Library, there's no basis for claims that he had an improper relationship. But of course, lots of curiosity about that in the world's media today. There was one headline in the Indian press talking about the intense relationship that they had. People love a good papal scandal, Catherine.
Indeed, and he only died, sort of 10, 11 years ago,
That's right.
so a very popular pope as well. I'm sure
Indeed.
a lot of people will be watching that with interest.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for that preview. James Creedon
Thanks,
there
Catherine.
with Mediawatch.